Welcome back to the podcast, guys. Today we're joined with Hossein from multiple. He's played for multiple teams in multiple countries. Could you tell us a bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Good to be on, guys. Thank you for having me. So my name is Hossein Ellahi. I'm Iranian Australian. Born in Iran and then raised in Australia. I'm a professional footballer, 22 years old, and I'm a striker.
Thank you for
Do you want to kick
coming on
off?
today, George. Do you want
Do
to
you
get
want
us
to
started?
kick? Oh, okay. Yeah. So we'll talk about your childhood, if that's all right. How was it like? Was it very football based?
Yeah. So I've been playing since I can remember. I've been playing since my memory goes back, and just been playing all along. Um, But yeah, I believe from a young age, I was surrounded by football. In Iran, football is a very popular sport. It's the national sport by a landslide. And then in Australia, it's not so popular, but because I have Iranian background, it just stuck with me and my family.
Go on, Jake.
Uh, could you tell us a bit about your the teams that you've played for and it in your childhood days?
Sure. Yeah. So I started off in Australia with a club team called Hornsby RSL. At the time, it was the highest level you could play in Australian football. Um, they didn't have an academy system back then, so just played club team. I was always one of the top players in the club level in Australia. And then when I was 16 years old, I moved to the United States to join my first academy, and that was with Seattle Sounders.
What was Seattle Sounders like for you?
Yeah, it was a very good organization. They have really good facilities, very well organized infrastructure, which was a big deal coming from like club football to then a professional environment. So it was really good to start seeing what it's like of a professional level of football versus club or park football, as they say. You have physios and nutritionists and multiple pitches to train on. You can grab a sack of balls and do finishing whenever you want. And it was really good to kind of experience that at a young age and understand what I will need to do if I want to continue this as a career later on.
Would you say that it was a big jump going from obviously Australia playing football over there and then going to America? Would you say it was a huge jump?
Yeah, to be honest, like it was just a different environment. It was now understanding, okay, there's no you have to be subbed on anymore. When you're young, I don't know how it is in the UK, but in Australia, everyone plays at a young age. Like the parents would complain if the kids don't play. So at club football, every kid goes on. And then coming into Seattle and realizing, okay, these people take it seriously. These coaches, it's their profession and they're scouts and things like that. So now I gotta earn my place, if that makes sense. And that's when it just kind of clicked in my head where um, you're not obligated to step on the pitch. You have to deserve to step on the pitch.
Yeah, George.
Did you enjoy your time in America?
Yeah, it was good. It was like I said, there was very good facilities and everything like that. So I really enjoyed being able to like dedicate my life to football, if that makes sense. If I needed to do extra finishing, I could get help from someone. I had a group of teammates that were all motivated just like myself. So, everyone understood training hard and everyone understood we got to do extra work and get our long balls in, get our finishing in, get our free kicks in. So it was nice to be able to have that on a footballing side. And then outside of football, yeah, it's a good country. Um, it was a new culture to have to adapt to. At first, it was difficult away from family and things like that. Having to learn how to cook on your own and do laundry and all sorts of small stuff. Um, but slowly and slowly, you start to grow up and understand that, okay, it's time to grow up and be a man now, not a boy. So, yeah.
Is it easy because you've been to quite a lot of clubs? Is it easy to change teams? Easy to make friends at new clubs?
Mhm. Um, to be quite frank, now because it's been so many years, it's become like a habit. I'm fortunate enough to be able to adapt to different cultures within different teams and things like that. Right now it is easy, but at first it was trying to understand that, okay, I'm in a new culture, I'm in a new country. I have to learn their language. I have to learn their style of play on the pitch. I have to learn their language off the pitch, and trying to just adapt myself, not just only as a player, but also as a person. And remember that, I'm in their country, I'm in their environment. I have to respect their rules. I can't come here and think that what I do is right and everyone else is wrong, if that makes sense.
Jake?
Would you say it was a bit of a struggle to change to the lifestyle of different countries?
No, I wouldn't say it was a struggle. But I also wouldn't say it was easy. I think the fact that I have two nationalities helps as well. Because I was I've been from two different cultures. Australia is one culture, and then Iran is a total different culture. So kind of from a young age, I was able to understand that. And then as football became more serious, and I was going to different countries, it was like kind of having to do what I did as a young kid all over again. Um, and yeah.
You
Sure.
mentioned that in Australia there wasn't academies. Do you
Mhm.
think maybe if there was, that could have helped your ability be better than you are today?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, Now they have the academy system. Like, it's not as like it is. You guys are in the UK, am I right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like it is over there. You guys have kids signing scholarships at like 9 years old or something like that. We don't have anything like that in Australia. But for example, we have A-League teams that have a youth system, have an academy. But for me personally speaking, it was like at the time it was two trainings a week, on a Tuesday night, Thursday night, match on a Saturday. Um, and it was the kind of match where the mums used to bring orange slices and things like that. It wasn't like an academy system with scouts, nothing like that. So if I was to go back and say how it would have been like if I had, been brought up in an academy system, I think just my style of play would have been different, because Australia, we breed workhorses. I mean, in the UK, there's quite a few Australians, and if you look at them all, they're usually the ones that run the most, because they try to breed us as athletes. Because if they try to breed us as technical players like Spain or Holland or something like that, it's just a reality. We'd be a bit behind. But one thing we have over other countries is we're athletes. We can run. We can continue to work hard. We can be versatile and adapt to different positions. Um, so I think it's just my style of play would have been different. I think I would have maybe been more knowledgeable at a game of the game earlier, um, versus what I did have. The benefits was I loved the game. I didn't get to train and play as much very young. I just always wanted to be. I was hungry to be on the pitch, and yeah.
Jake?
We're going to move on now to diet choices. And would you say you have to like change your diet choices depending on what country you're in?
Yes and no. Before I knew how to cook, I would have to, yeah, I would have to, because you'd order takeout, for example. So it was whatever they had. Um, as I got older and started to understand the importance of nutrition, I started to hold myself accountable and responsible. So I'm not a good cook by all means, but I can do everything simple. So I just held myself responsible to go shopping, get the things that I need to get, and then not take the easy way out and buy takeaway. So just force myself to cook, and that's how it started early on. And then later on, start working with nutritionists and people that actually understand the science and the knowledge of nutrition and things like that.
George?
So you said that you learned to pretty much cook by yourself. Was that
Mhm.
hard? Was it pretty easy?
Yeah, it was. At first, it was hard. I had no clue what I was doing. and you probably wouldn't enjoy the meals I would give you, but yeah, I just started to kind of learn about it and understand what tastes good, what doesn't. I mean, the thing is also certain countries I would go to, they would want me at a certain weight, if that makes sense. They would want me at a certain weight. They'd want me lighter or heavier, and I would have to adjust my weight, with the food I eat, depending on what they wanted me at. So yeah, but now I'm fortunate enough to like work with a high level nutritionist in France from the League One level. So they're able to kind of let me know and tell me what I should do and shouldn't do, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it hard to change countries by like the food way? Like, so obviously, America, there's completely different food than there is in France.
Mhm. Yeah, in certain like countries you go to, the quality of their foods are just different as well, and what they eat as well. Like you guys have sausage and eggs for breakfast. Is that right? Something like that. You guys have
Yeah.
beans and eggs and things like that. Yeah. So for me, that's not common at all, if that makes sense. For me,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, that's not common at all. But what I try to do is I try to have things that I understand that I like, foods that I like, foods that suit me, and try to purchase those same things everywhere. So porridge, you guys do porridge, right? So I try to follow that kind of everywhere I go and keep the same routine in that sense. Yeah.
When you moved to obviously from America to your next country, was it like you had to learn how to cook from the beginning? Or
Um. Yeah. I pretty much learned from scratch. I mean, my mother used to always cook, but I would never like watch her and try to learn or anything. I'm same with you guys. I doubt you guys sit in the kitchen and try to see what mom's doing. Yeah, exactly. But personally, myself, I just try to understand that I need the protein, I need the carbohydrates, I need the vegetables, and then just try to pop it in the pan at first and cook it up because I didn't have the right knowledge of food at the time. So as I got more knowledge of the food and now I'm working with nutritionists, I kind of understand more what I need to do for recovery, for game day, um, and yeah, and training and things like that.
right, are you ready to move on, Jake?
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll move on to like the different climates. Obviously, around the world, there's different weather, different climate. How is that? Is that hard to adapt to?
Yeah. With the climates, I've been fortunate to kind of have a bit of everything. So in Australia, it's hot. Um,
Yeah.
in uh, in Seattle, it rains like over 200 days a year. So that was something new and interesting. And then when I flew to Germany, the pitches were frozen. So snow and pitches were frozen. I think you guys have that in UK all in one day. I'm pretty sure, something like that. Yeah,
We get it a lot.
but yeah, exactly. But for me, it was just being able to learn to play in different things and different climates and different temperatures and it wasn't difficult, but it did take time to get used to. For example, in Asia, it's humid. You can't breathe. For the first 2 weeks, a lot of players that come on trial in Asia, first 2 weeks they can't train a full session. You feel that you don't get enough oxygen. So I've been fortunate to play in like every single climate possible to think of. Um, but yeah, luckily now at this point, it's kind of become more normal for me. But yeah, at the time, it was a bit of a struggle. Like in Germany, for example, you'd wear like all of them, everyone would wear 4 socks to try to keep their toes warm. Or in Seattle with the rain, in your gloves, you would put those hot packets that you'd
Yeah.
move
Yeah.
and they spray mud. And yeah, so just kind of at first it was something to get used to, but yeah, now it's all okay.
What do you enjoy playing in the most? What weather?
I like the rain, to be honest. I think because at a youth level they don't water the pitches like they do in the Premier League, for example,
Yeah.
or League One. So it was always nice to play in the rain. The ball moves, the ball glides, the ball moves
Yeah,
very
slides.
nicely. It's just I feel like because of the UK, it's a stereotypical football weather. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I enjoy that the most. Um, so Yeah, so for me, that would probably be my ideal, ideal weather.
Is it like completely different? 'Cause obviously you went to Australia where it's boiling hot, and then you went
Yeah.
to America, which is obviously raining all the time.
Yeah.
Was it really hard to adapt?
At first, yeah. I'll give you an example actually. In Australia, the youth don't train when it rains. Yeah, like if it rains, they call training off. So when I arrived in America, I would text the coach and say, "Hi, is training on tonight?" And he batted me, he scolded me, and told me, "Rain or shine, we train here. There's no cancel rain." And that's when it clicked in my head, like, okay, I close my mouth when it comes to different temperatures. We just
Yeah,
play. Yeah. So, but it was it took just a couple of weeks to get used to, and then yeah, now it's all good.
Jake.
We can move on if you're ready to.
Yeah, I'm ready.
The next topic is how do you prepare for games? Like, do you have any superstitions, like putting your right boot on first, your left boot on first?
Yeah. To be honest, I like used to have weird superstitions like that, like put my right sock on first, and take a shower this warm or this cold, and things like that. And as I got older, I realized I should put my confidence in my training. And if I train well all week and focus every day as if I'm playing the game on the weekend, then then I'll show up on game day and perform. So now I just try to eat right all week, try to sleep right all week, leading up to the game, have more carbohydrates. Um, yeah, just kind of mentally prepare myself leading up to game day. But I do have a typical game day routine and the night before, but it's not like anything really superstitious or do a flip and jump around and then I'll have a good game or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
George?
So, like you said that you don't really have any, but is there like anything you like before you go to sleep? Is there something like you'll do?
Yeah, sure. So, for example, prior to sleeping on game day, so I'll have like the proper meal that I need to have with the right amount of carbohydrates, protein, and vegetables, and then go to sleep and remain well hydrated all day, all few days leading prior to the game. Then before I go to sleep, I just like to visualize. I like to speak to the kit man, know what color kit I'm wearing, and just kind of visualize what I'm gonna do that day, all in a perfect scenario. When I get the ball, I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to score like this. I'm going to, just try to put positive thoughts in my head of what I'm going to do the next day. I think Wayne Rooney spoke about that once. And I actually got that from him when I was very young. Just trying to visualize what I'm going to do the next day and that it's all going to go perfectly, if that makes sense. Just try to put the best thoughts in my head and and yeah, just put those scenarios, and I try to make it detailed as possible. I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to shoot with this foot. I'm going to celebrate like this, and then try to emulate the same thing the next day.
What's the feeling like if you know you've got a big game tomorrow, either against a big club or like maybe even a rival? Is there
Mm-hmm.
like something you do different, or like waking up the feeling?
Yeah, to be honest, the nerves are higher. I'm not gonna lie about that for sure. When there's more pressure, when there's more responsibility or anything, whether it's personal or for the team, there's more pressure. There's more nerves. But I try to just try to keep the same routine and try to treat every game the same. Not think, even if it's a very big game, I try to just think about it as, okay, this is just another game. This is football. This is what I've been doing my whole life, and this is what I love. And try not to make it bigger than what it is and put too much pressure on myself. Try to control that internal. Try to control the external pressure um, by handling my own internal pressure, if that makes sense.
You said that it's so you obviously get a tiny bit nervous before a big game. Is
Mhm.
that like grown onto you? Did you feel like that as a kid, or?
Yeah, always. I mean, I think I always have nerves on any game right before. But once I step on the pitch and that first touch is good, it's a nice first touch and a nice ball or a nice shot, everything kind of mellows down and it's like, okay, I'm good. this is what I do. This is what I've been doing from when I'm young. This is what I love to do. And then everything just kind of simmers down. But I think until that first whistle goes and that first touch comes, there's a bit of like angst, if that makes sense. You're just a bit anxious. Yeah.
Do you like put as soon as the whistle blows, or as soon as you obviously get your first touch, do you like put everything behind you and just focus football?
Yeah, to be honest, for that 90 minutes, even in training, like nothing is in my head. You know, fortunately for me, I genuinely love football. You know, I could train all day and then I could come and watch football. It's my passion. I'm sure it's like you guys. You guys watch football, talk football, play football all day.
Yeah.
So,
You sort of live the game.
yeah, exactly. I mean, the game has given me so much, you know, and the game also is why I do so many things that I do. So for me, when I'm on that pitch, it's like a sense of relief. It's just like a sigh of relief. I'm free now. And on this pitch, nothing matters because on that pitch, there's no color, there's no money, there's no race, there's no religion. It's like us right
Yeah.
now, you know, we're from different sides of the world, but because of the beautiful game, we're talking right now. And that's what football does for me. It's like nothing matters for that 90 minutes. And what you do on that pitch is the only thing that's gonna matter after that 90 minutes. So yeah, for that training session or game, everything is just gone, and it's just give your all in this, and then and yeah, if that makes sense.
Go on, Jake.
Um, I've gone blank, George. Go on, George.
Too much,
Is there
too
like
much good information. You go blank.
Yeah.
so obviously you've played in quite a lot of countries. So I've heard you've played in obviously America, you've played in Germany, you've played in Singapore. Is it really I might have asked this before, but is it really hard to like in Singapore to where it is like in India? Is it
Mhm.
really different football wise?
Yeah, to be honest, everywhere I've played has been different in a minor way, but you know, in football, it's the small details that count. I would say Australia, for example, is like England in the style, but maybe a step below in the quality, overall quality. But it's that same. You guys play hard. It's always play on. A lot of challenges, a lot of long balls, a lot of direct football. Um, you know, that's the stereotypical English way. I'm sure it's changing now slowly, but Australia is kind of like that as well. Um, then, for example, in India, it's they actually India and Singapore they watch England. That's the only league they really watch. Yeah, they don't watch other leagues. So they try to emulate that. You know, they all their idols, all their coaches' idols before players' idols was like that. Germany very tactical, very well structured. France they're very technical. They play very intelligent. So everyone has had a minor difference, which in football even a small detail can be a major difference. But yeah, it's always hard. It's always hard, like getting to a new place, and the speed of play could be different, or the style could be different, or even in my position, they expect something totally different. Um, but but it's good because I'm also young, and I'm able to just adapt as I'm getting older. I'm able to learn these things for the future.
All right. So is it like obviously you said you were really young.
Mhm.
Do you think you could maybe potentially get better? Maybe obviously you're in France right now. Maybe get even higher the league that you're in.
Yeah, I mean, the goal for me is to, you know, I'm nowhere close to have making it in my mind. You know, I still believe that I have a long way to go. You know, I dream of representing, you know, my countries, getting a call up at the senior level and playing at the highest level possible. So I still feel that I'm in that journey. You know, I mean, I'm sure I saw you guys have some people on your podcast that have had 250 caps, 200 goals. You know, so I'm still working to get there, and I just I just think there's still work to do. There's still fine tuning to do, and yeah, just working towards having my break. somewhere, sometime, and going from there. Yeah, but by all means, I do believe that I can get there, and it's just a matter of just working hard and staying humble.
Going back to your childhood, did you used to watch a lot of football, or maybe even now, do you watch football like on TV?
Yeah, so when I started watching as from a young age, it was just for the love of the game. Like I just watched the ball move,
Yeah.
just like that. And then as I got older, I started analyzing. So I would pick a striker that had my weight, height, and style of play, and I would watch all his games, all his YouTube videos, all his highlights, everything, and I would try to emulate it. Um, and now I don't pick a player and watch all the time or anything like that. But of course, I love football, so I still put it on. I still watch big games that can entertain me, and yeah, I mean, football is my love, whether I was playing professionally or whether I was playing in a park. So I think that will never change.
Are you watching the German league right now?
I am, yeah. I like that young striker from Dortmund, so I watch him.
Haaland?
Yeah, he's solid. I
Would you
think.
say you
Yeah.
admire him?
Nah, not admire, but he's a good player. He's got good qualities. I like all strikers. I think every striker brings something unique to the table. Um, and yeah, it's good for football to be back on again after a few months. I think with all the difficult things that are going on around the world, I think it's good to have professional sports on again, even if it's without fans.
How are you coping? Because obviously football's pretty much, it did come to a full stop here, because obviously you seem like a massive football fan, everything, football life. How are you coping?
Yeah, so actually in France, they canceled all the leagues as of recently. Yeah,
Yeah,
so as you guys saw, PSG got crowned champions in League One, for example. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, so personally, for me, um, I try to be as disciplined as possible. I'm a disciplined person, so I hold myself accountable to continue training sessions and things like that alone. I mean, all the pitches and things like that were closed here, so there's a parking lot behind my house. So I was getting some work in the parking lot and doing some stuff in my home and just using small equipment that I have in the house, bike and things like that, and just trying to make do with what I have, doing the best possible with the things that I have. But of course, time away from football is difficult. Whether it's for me, whether it's for you guys, whether it's for UK's population, So um, yeah, it's obviously it's been hard, but there's more important things going on in the world right now. So I try to think of them rather than think of what's best for me, if that makes sense.
would you say you're doing more things now than what you did when football was on?
Um, I'm trying to do just as much, to be honest. It's a bit more easy when football's going on because you got access to pitches. I got access to gym, to pool, to to private like training centers, things like that. But right now, I just try to emulate that as best as possible. So I got some equipment at the house. Like I said, I got a bike. I got some equipment, some weights, things like that. Then in the parking lot, if I can get anything done. Um, so I'm trying to do as much as I can, going on runs, things like that. And actually in France, they have a lot of small pitches all around the country, like small
Yeah.
5v5 pitches. So I try to get on those, do small technical sessions, and just try to make and do as much as possible.
Jake?
Would you say you're looking to go higher in football? So because obviously you're quite young, would you say you're looking to move into a better country that's known more for football, like England?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I'm very happy in France right now. I'd like to stay here and progress in France as high as possible. And that's my objective. My objective in football was uh, was always to try and be the best. I mean, it still is to try and be the best. So um, I'm 22 years old. I definitely believe that I can score goals in on a consistent basis and have my break. So it's just a matter of continuing to believe in myself and doing that and yeah, and listening to the people that are trying to help me and trying to mentor me and guide me in my objectives.
Would you say you have the sort of mindset of a high-end professional footballer?
Yeah. To be honest, if to be quite frank, I would say I have the mental capacity of them. I wouldn't say that in any way I'm beneath them on a mental basis. I would say I believe in myself that I can make it to the top without a doubt. Um, and it's just proving to the world what I believe in myself, if that makes sense. And just yeah.
You could sort of say football's two games, like the physical game where you show on the pitch and the mental game which you show in training and the commitment to the game.
Right.
What one would you say you're better at, being mentally stronger in the game or physically?
I would personally say I think I bring both qualities, but I would say I definitely do have um, an edge over other players mentally, because I don't think it's easy to get up and leave your family at 16 years old and play overseas, for example, or to move countries or to adapt to different styles and things like that. Um, I find myself in a very good state physically, but I also think I bring something else to the table mentally as well. Just being able to have the capacity to work every day, work hard, never quit, never give up, and whatever the team needs of me, whatever the coach needs of me, just put my head down and work.
George?
Earlier you mentioned that you as a kid you used to like study a player, like if they got the same height, weight, and that gameplay of you. Could you
Yeah.
name some examples of players?
Yeah. So growing up, Ronaldo was my like favorite player. I was young, and it was just like watching him dribble, like down the line and do his step overs and things like that. As I grew older and started to understand my position and my role and what I can bring to the table, I started, like I said, watching strikers that, yeah, my height and weight. So I started off watching Aguero. That was probably the first one. So we share a
Yeah.
similar body and similar style. Um, and trying to just, yeah, watch him in every situation. His movement, his runs, how he touches the ball, where he touches the ball, which area of the pitch he spends most of his time in, how does he check his shoulder, things like that. Aguero was a big one. Tevez was another one. Um, Defoe from your guys' motherland,
Yeah.
because he's one of the smallest strikers, especially from England. You guys usually have, nowadays, you guys have the biggest strikers. So that was one that I watched. But to be honest, I don't imitate any of them, because I believe that imitation is limitation. So I just try to take the good and see what I can take from any striker. So I was saying that young striker from Haaland, young striker from Dortmund, Haaland. I you know, we share different ability. So I don't try to copy what he does or anything like that. But if I see something that I like, see something that I can put into my game, then I just try to kind of, yeah, pick that. But I mean, every striker brings something different to the table. So, yeah.
Is there a football team in the whole world that you say you'd support?
To be honest, no. I watch all the good teams. You're probably English fans are gonna butcher me because I'm gonna name all the teams that are rivals against each other. But yeah, I watch all the good teams. I watch Man United, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. Then the same in Germany. I watch Dortmund. I watch Bayern. So I'm a fan of good football. I love good football. Um, and yeah, to be honest, I don't support a specific team other than my countries. I support, the Australian national team when they play. That's when I become a fan, and when the Iranian national team plays, that's when I become a fan as well. But other than that, I just admire good football. Yeah.
If you got a call up from Australia and Iran, who would you take?
Yeah, I can't. To be honest, that's something that I can't decide. I think when the option will be there and I have the two options on the table, that's something that I have to discuss with my family And yeah, unfortunately, one day I'll have to make that decision. And but to be honest, yeah, I gotta have to choose. Yeah, which way my heart goes. But as of now, my heart goes with both. So unless maybe I can find a way to represent both or something like that. But yeah, we'll see.
Jake,
I'm all out.
is there anything else you would like to say to the podcast? Hossein, anything you'd like to say?
For me, nah, all good. I think I saw you guys starting to you guys are on your way up for the on your way up in the podcast world. So it was just a pleasure to be able to join on the podcast and speak to you guys. Yeah, I think you guys have a great thing going for yourselves, and it will be a pleasure to see you guys grow and continue to rise in the podcast industry.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
We wish you luck with your football career, and
George. Pleasure, guys.
hopefully you can be playing for a team in one of the top leagues around the world.
Absolutely, we'll be in touch. I'll get back on when that happens. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for
guys.
coming
Bye.
on. It's been nice speaking with you.